Hey student, watch this video and pay attention because I'm going to be giving you some insight that will help you analyze a few things about your English journey. Coming up. Hey friends, Teacher Prix here to help you talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime in English. First of all, it is Friday night, so if you are here watching this lesson, even if it's not Friday night, thank you so much. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to teach you. I hope you subscribe because from Monday to Friday, I have many cool lessons for you. And if you are already subscribed, thanks a million. Thanks for participating. Thanks for being here. Yeah, awesome. Today, I don't have slides. It's just me. you know. Well, I had this idea, and you can ask me a few questions in the chat. I might try to answer them, okay? But why did I decide to make this video? If you know me, I have private students. Every week, I come here on YouTube. I have my online English program, but I also have private students. And I had this conversation with many English learners of mine. Oh, teacher, I'm studying, but how can I improve? Because I'm studying, and I'm like, tell me more about that. And maybe this is a kind of confusion that English learners, especially if you study alone, this could be something that happens to you. And I'm going to give you an example with my personal life, okay? As many of you know, I am studying Italian by myself, and I've been studying for 6 months. Yeah, 6 months. And I know when I sit down to study, and I know when I am being lazy, when I am not in the mood, and I know when I am procrastinating. I know, but not every English learner knows the difference between between being present and not being present. And I know that everybody has good days and bad days. Sometimes you're not feeling good, sometimes you're feeling lazy, but there is a difference. So your English result is connected to how you study. It doesn't matter what people tell you. And this result could be in years, this result could be in months, this result could be in weeks. It depends on you, okay? So, why is it so important to pay attention to the way you study? If you are not present when you study English, if you are not fully there when you sit down to study, you will not see results. Okay? Yes, this is a live video. You will not see results if you don't sit down and fully be there. Okay, fully immersed. So what happens to many English learners? They have, let's say they decide to study twice a week. But then when they sit down to study, they have messages, okay, on WhatsApp. They are answering friends, and I have many messages here. Oh my God. I need to talk to my friends. They have messages on their phone. They have Facebook open, they have the book, they have some videos on YouTube, but they have many things for them to focus on. And this is very difficult for the brain to do, okay? Unfortunately, society wants people to believe we can multitask. And honestly, I even tell people, oh, I multitask. But we don't multitask, okay? You may think you're multitasking, but in reality, you are dividing your attention. You are sharing your focus with different things. So what happens when you do that? When you divide your attention that way, it is really hard for you to do everything the way you are supposed to do, okay? So your study time is precious, okay? The moment you sit down to study is precious. And one thing that I always tell my new students, people who start studying with me, is, okay, do you have your student kit? And then they're like, what student kit? Do you have a notebook? Do you have a pencil? Do you have a pen? Do you have an eraser? Post-its, if possible. Why? Because you need to use all your abilities, all the way. I think that every tool you can use to stimulate your brain to learn should be near you, okay? And even technology, as long as you can stay focused. And why is that? For example, I have some students who tell me they start studying with me and they say, oh, but I watch videos on YouTube every week. Sorry, my lovely people, watching a video is not studying, okay? I follow this guy on YouTube, he's Italian, and I don't remember his name, Marcello. I don't remember, it doesn't matter. I follow him, and in this case, for this specific person, I just follow. I just watch his videos. I hit the like button. Yes, I hit the like button. I support the people I follow. I hit the like button. I watch the lesson. No, it's not really a lesson. I watch his vlogs. I watch his videos, the things he does, but that's it, you know? And many times when I am watching him, I am cooking or I am having like a 10-minute break from work. I'm not focused. It is in Italian, okay, but I am not studying. I'm not considering that, oh, but you're improving your listening. No, I'm not testing my listening there. It is good to have contact with the language, I'm not gonna lie, but I am not studying. That moment doesn't count. Unfortunately, many students will use those moments when they watch something on YouTube as study time. And that's not study time, my friends. And if you do that a lot, you may have this illusion that you're learning, but you're not, okay? Now, it is important to have these moments, to have a moment when you watch a YouTuber you enjoy, to watch a different kind of video, you know? It's cool. There is a moment for everything, okay? Now, another scenario. But teacher, I watch lessons on YouTube every day. I watch your lessons on YouTube every day. Am I not studying? It depends. Let's say you watch my lessons on YouTube. Do you have your student kit? Remember the student kit? What is the student's kit? Well, do you have a pencil or a pen? Do you have a notebook to take notes? You know, a notepad. Do you have a space where you will be concentrated? Are you watching me or are you watching me checking Facebook, chatting on Instagram, chatting on WhatsApp, checking the chat on YouTube? So are you really with me? Are you really focused? Are you present? Are you in the now, in the moment? And I'm sorry, this video is a little bit alternative. I like to do that on Fridays because your study moment will determine whether you learn or whether you don't, okay? So when you sit down to watch me, then you can, or other teachers, okay? I imagine you follow many teachers. That's nice. Go and follow whoever you want to. That's amazing. There are many amazing teachers here on YouTube. So if sometimes you just want to watch my lesson, you know, see me playing around here for fun, go do that, you know? Watch, have a good time, and that's it. But don't consider that moment a study moment. That's just entertainment, okay? That's pure entertainment. I received a message, a direct message on Instagram, and hey, I have Instagram, okay? Follow me there. And the person asked me if it was possible to learn English while driving the car. And I was very honest, and I thought it would be nice to share this with you guys here. You cannot, okay? Because you are fully focused on driving, not on learning English. You have to pay attention to the traffic, to the other cars around you. There's a lot of stress and pressure for you to drive, okay? Now, can you listen to something as an entertainment, you know, without any pressure to study, to learn vocabulary? Yes, absolutely. And these are the things that you have to start to analyze. For example, I use the TV series Friends to study, okay? I watch one episode per week. I repeat the same episode every week, okay? I like every week I watch a new episode. And I know when I am not paying attention. Okay, I really know when my mind starts to wander and I am not there anymore. So, what I usually do is I pause, I go get some water, I go get some thing to eat, a chocolate or a snack, and then I go back and I continue watching the TV show. Okay, so you need to start paying attention to the symptoms you have. So when you sit down to study, how long do you spend studying? How long can you keep your attention on the subject you study? Is it difficult or easy for you to sit down and focus on what you are reading, on what you're listening? These things, they will help you analyze if you're studying or if you are wondering, you're not really there. Okay, now let's suppose you watch my lessons and you really want to study my lessons. And it's so nice because some people, they post on Instagram and they tag me on their Instagram accounts and they show themselves studying, taking notes, writing down information. And that's what you should be doing if you want to study through lessons. And I definitely recommend that. I study English depending on the subject. I study English on YouTube, I study Italian on YouTube, and when I am watching something, I focus on that lesson. I repeat the lesson, yes, because only once is not sufficient for me to understand something, and I imagine the same for you. Our brain needs repetition. So let's say I'm learning simple past now, okay? In Italian, I'm learning simple past, but a different past, because there are many different pasts in English, in Italian. So what I do is I really repeat the lesson and I take notes. Then I repeat again and then I take notes. Another thing I do is I create examples. I connect it to my life. One video, okay? I think the video was like 10 or 15 minutes, okay? So with that 15-minute video, I spent 1 hour studying. So you see, all my videos here, well, most of my videos here on YouTube, they are 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, and that's intentionally. Why are my videos that length? Because ideally, you would be spending 45 minutes to an hour studying that video, pausing, practicing pronunciation, looking, trying to pay attention to the words I use, creating notes, taking notes. What did I understand in this part of the lesson? How am I going to create an example with the phrasal verbs lesson? When I teach you a phrasal verb and you saw my example, pause. Oh, how can I create an example? I'm going to do that now. So you do that as you watch the lesson. So one 15-minute lesson or a 10-minute lesson would become a 1-hour lesson because of what you do with the lesson. You see, it's not about the material. It's about what you do with the material. That's where I feel that English learners are having problems with, because let's think about it. There are so many things on the internet for you guys to use. There are so many sources, so many different books, free books, so many different texts, so many different audios. And yet many people are not learning. Many people are not improving. Why? Because it's not about the material. It's about what you do with the information you receive. So when you, and this is not only on my channel, all channels here on YouTube that teach English, they have the same goal. They want you to learn and improve alone. And I know it's possible, because I wouldn't be here telling this experience to you guys if I didn't believe it wasn't possible. Okay? So that's something that I believe that is making students' life a little bit more difficult, because perhaps you don't know how to use the information you have access to. So this could mean you are not studying as much as you believe you are. Now, some people may ask me, but Teacher Prix, should I study every day 1 hour? No, Okay, I have two answers for that. If you have, oops, oh, my nail. I just got my nails done. Okay. If you have time to study 1 hour every day, amazing, my friend, do it. If you don't have time, you have your answer. You don't have time, okay? We need to respect our limitations, all right? So if you don't have time to study every single day, you don't, period, okay? But now you need to analyze, okay, I don't have time every day, all right, fine. But honestly speaking, do I have 1 hour once a week? Do I have 20 minutes 3 times a week? Do I have 40 minutes twice a week or 3 times a week? You need to have that honest internal dialogue with yourself, that internal conversation. And from there, you can choose one video of mine or maybe two per week, and you can study that lesson. You can really dive into the content. You know, whenever I begin a lesson, I use the phrasal verb, let's dive into the content. What is this? What is to dive? It's when you swim, you know, when you jump into the water and you dive, you go deep, deep, all the way down. These nails are not red, they're pink. Because of the camera, it may look pink, it may look red. So what going back to what I was saying, I'm telling you to dive into the content, to go deep. I want you to have an experience that I give to my students when I am teaching them privately, you know, in private sessions. So I want you to have that moment. That's why I always say, let's dive into the content. Let's dive into the content. And diving into the content means much more than hitting play and watching the lesson. It means pausing. It means taking notes. It means thinking about the information you are receiving, okay? And I know that, for example, with a private student, I don't have a person in mind, but usually with private students, I know when they studied something, I asked them to, and when they didn't, okay? Last week I had a student, I asked him to read something for me, and he kinda read what I asked. How did I know that he didn't study? Because he couldn't talk about it, okay? He couldn't explain. I think it was a text about internet and how men and women use the internet. It was something about internet. And he couldn't explain. He got nervous and he apologized. He said, oh, teacher, can I do it next class? And I said, sure, okay, but study, okay? Really pause. Well, in that case, it was not a video. Pay attention, read the paragraphs individually, take notes, you know. Going back to my experience again, I was studying Italian and I started to notice, the mentality. I started to notice that I was not doing a very good job with the articles, with the texts, okay? Every lesson I study has a text. Every lesson has a text. Not very long, I think it's about 500, 600 words, so I always read. Every week I read, every week I listen about similar subjects. And I started to pay attention that I was not doing a very good job. I was making many comprehension mistakes, but stupid mistakes. Then I thought, is my reading comprehension a little bad? Or do I have a bad reading practice? And then I began to pay attention and I realized that when I had to do the reading, I was in a hurry. I wanted to do it quickly. So I read everything very quickly. I was like, okay, I understood. Okay, I know this, I know that. I don't have any new words. But when I got to the questions, I didn't know how to answer them. I made mistakes. So I thought, oh, my study process is all wrong. That's why I'm having problems with the texts I'm reading. So I changed. I started to follow the same thing I tell my students, and I began to pay attention to what I was reading. So I checked all the words, I highlighted, I made sure that I absolutely understood the words, I wrote short explanations, and voila, when I did the exercise, I got 90%. Not 100% because that's not the goal, but I got much better. So from getting 50% correct, I got 90%. I got much more information. I remembered more stuff because I wrote about it, because I checked the vocabulary. I actually studied. Now, if you ask me how long it took me all the time that I spent. I study 3 times a week for 1 hour and a half. And because of that day, because on that day I really wanted to test my theory that I was being lazy, I spent 1 hour studying that and taking notes and writing and reading aloud, and I did a better job. So you see, it's not about the material, it's about how you use it, okay? So, my main message for you guys is if you feel like you're not making improvements, what is your study moment? It's not even a study routine, but the moment you sit down to study, what is it like? Do you really focus on the information? Do you really, roll up your sleeves and like, okay, let's do this. Let's sit down and work on this audio or work on this video. Let me pause and take notes. Let me learn this word. Let me learn this expression Teacher Prix is teaching me. Let me create some examples. Be more active with that. Okay? And as I said, there will be days when you won't do it. There will be days when it'll be just for entertainment. But you need to begin to analyze that because that will help you realize whether you are studying or whether you are just spending time. Okay? So this is definitely something you need to work on. Okay, Alexandre says my listening is very terrible. Many times I cried when I can't understand what I listen. Do you have some tips? Okay, all right, if you have problems to understand and you cry because you feel anxious, it's probably because the audio you're listening to is very difficult. Okay, this is too difficult for you and it's okay. So you have to take a step back. Now, you also need to analyze how long the audio is. If it's a very long audio, it'll be difficult for you to keep up with the audio you're listening, okay? So I would recommend going to you have to build the skill, okay? It doesn't matter how long you have been studying. I always have the same attitude with all my students. Go back. Okay, so Google some short audios for you to listen and you will find, I'm pretty sure you will. And for every audio you listen, you need to have the transcript. The transcript is important if you are trying to improve your listening skills. You need to have the transcript because you will analyze the vocabulary. Many English learners have very severe vocabulary problems, and because of that, they don't understand audios, okay? Short audios, have the transcript. Every time you finish listening to the audio, write a short explanation. But I understand a little. It's okay. Start there. Start with the little. Then listen again. Write another explanation, okay? Then listen to another short, to the same audio again. Write a short explanation. Finish that. Check the transcript. Practice repeating that. Another thing that I do this a lot with my students on my online program, questions. Sometimes it is difficult for some people to describe what they listen. So this will have a little problems to find. You will need to Google this, okay? It's possible to find, but you will have to Google it and you have to be patient. But try to find listening exercises that have questions, that will ask you something, that will check, that will test your comprehension, okay? And this is the preparation aspect of the game. That's how you improve. It's not watching a movie or a 1-hour podcast or listening only to native speakers. No, of course, it's amazing to listen to native speakers. If you like it, do it. If you can, do it, but it's not the only solution. But short audios that will ask you questions to test your knowledge, they will help you much more than listening to very long audios, very long podcasts, very long lessons in general. Okay, watching my lessons to the shorter ones. This, for example, tonight's lesson is too long to practice listening, but shorter lessons that I have here will help you improve your listening so that you can build up your listening skills. But if you are feeling very stuck and very nervous, I would recommend you find more basic audio so that you can begin to build your skills. Okay, and short, they have to be short, 5 minutes, up to 7 minutes, up to 7 minutes. That's where you should be heading. Okay, very nice, my friends. I hope you enjoyed tonight's lesson. My main message is how you study. Think about it. Maybe you're not studying, you're just watching a lesson on YouTube. That doesn't mean studying. Oh, I just read an article very quickly. That's not studying. That's just reading something, because you are not you're not diving into the content. Remember, that's the key word of the night. You're not diving into the content. Consequently, you may not really improve your listening comprehensions. Okay? Awesome. Other than that, my friends, have a lovely night. Oh, and for Brazilian people, sorry, this is for Brazilian people because the person who will do that with me is Brazilian. I'll be going on Instagram in 30 minutes, okay? I will be giving an interview to a friend of mine. Her name, let me get her Instagram. Let's see. Why is this just for the Brazilian people? Because she is Brazilian and she's doing an interview with me tonight in 30 minutes. So if you want to know, if you want to follow her, crap, how is her profile? Okay. It's Brunelli. Do Lago. Okay, so this is the person I'll be giving an interview with. She's like a professional coach. She's very good. She is Brazilian, okay? So I'll be there at 8 o'clock in 30 minutes. So if you want to join, hey, follow her. It'll be nice, all right? Thank you so much, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.